Airlines hate a lot of things, but nothing irritates them more than passengers who understand how the system actually works. Not the marketing, not the carefully crafted messages about loyalty and valued guests, but the real mechanisms behind flight pricing, seat assignments, fees, and the behavioral traps airlines quietly hope you never figure out. The truth is that airlines depend on predictable passenger behavior. They depend on impatience, fear, confusion, and routine. When a traveler acts outside those patterns, legally and completely within the rules, it disrupts their revenue model. And those disruptions are exactly what airlines hate most. Today, we're talking about the 7 perfectly legal behaviors airlines secretly hate but can't stop you from doing, because every time you do them, you save money, gain control, or avoid one of their carefully engineered profit opportunities. Welcome to Passport Pointers, the channel that exposes the real rules of modern air travel with equal parts wit, sarcasm, and brutal honesty. If you're tired of playing the airline's game on their terms, this is your video. I'm about to show you how to outsmart the system, not with loopholes, not with dangerous hacks, not with outdated advice, but with real, current 2026 strategies that make you a more empowered traveler. These aren't secrets because they're illegal. They're secrets because airlines don't want them widely known. Once you understand these 7 things, you'll never look at booking, boarding, or flying the same way again. The first thing airlines secretly hate is when passengers compare prices across multiple booking platforms instead of blindly trusting the airline's website. Airlines want you to believe their site always offers the lowest fare. They promote best price guarantee banners, loyalty incentives, and exclusive offers that make it seem irresponsible to look anywhere else. But the reality is simple. Different booking platforms negotiate different deals, distribute different fare classes, and show different combinations of connections and code shares. That means the exact same flight, same seat, same aircraft, same time can appear for different prices depending on where you look. When you compare, you sometimes discover that a flight listed at a premium price on an airline's website is cheaper on a partner airline site or even on a third-party platform. Not because the product is different, but because the pricing algorithm assigns demand differently. Airlines hate this because comparison exposes their pricing inconsistencies. They want you funneled into their ecosystem, where the options are controlled, the prices are curated, and the upsells are strategically placed. The moment you step outside that funnel and start comparing, their grip weakens, and yet they can't stop you. They can't punish you for checking alternate sites. They can't hide their own codeshare fares. They can't block competitors from showing lower prices. They can only hope you never think to look. But comparison shopping becomes an even bigger problem for them when passengers take advantage of codeshare differences. Imagine 2 partner airlines operating the exact same flight, same plane, same crew, same metal. One airline might list that flight for $200 more simply because their algorithm assumes higher demand from their customer base. When you book through the partner airline instead, you get the same seat for less. Airlines despise this because it reveals how arbitrary their pricing really is. But again, they cannot stop you from booking through a partner. It's allowed, it's normal, and it's one of the biggest money-saving strategies informed travelers use. The second thing airlines hate is when passengers use the 24-hour cancellation rule to their advantage. Airlines didn't create this rule as a kindness. Consumer protection laws require it in many regions, especially for flights booked directly with the airline. And smart passengers use this rule the way it was intended, to protect themselves. You can book a flight when the price looks good, lock it in, and then monitor the fare over the next 24 hours. If the price drops, you cancel and rebook. If it rises, you already secured the lower fare. Airlines hate this because it eliminates the panic they depend on to drive sales. They want you stressed. They want you scared of missing the deal. They want you convinced that prices will skyrocket if you don't book immediately. But the 24-hour rule gives you breathing room, and airlines don't like relaxed, confident customers. They want emotionally pressured ones. Still, they cannot remove or limit the rule. They must comply with it, and they just hope you forget it exists. The third thing airlines secretly hate is when passengers maximize their personal item allowance. Most travelers carry small backpack-sized items because they assume personal items must be tiny. Airlines quietly encourage this by showing photos of petite laptop bags and small totes during booking. What they don't highlight is that personal item size limits are often surprisingly large enough to fit an entire weekend's worth of clothes if you pack strategically. Some allow dimensions near carry-on size. And when passengers actually use the full permitted size, airlines lose money because fewer travelers pay for overhead bin carry-on space or checked bags. Personal item-only travel reduces one of the airline's most profitable revenue streams. baggage fees. And because they can't legally shrink the personal item size without updating their official policy and risking public backlash, they simply hope passengers don't notice how big that allowance is. There's a second layer to this one that irritates airlines even more: passengers who use structured personal item travel to avoid boarding group games. Travelers with small underseat bags never have to fight for overhead space, worry about running out of storage, or stress about paying for upgrades to board early. They walk on last, sit down, and go. Airlines can't charge you extra for using the exact bag size they approved, but they absolutely hate watching travelers bypass an entire category of fees with something as simple as packing smarter. The fourth thing airlines hate is when passengers wait for strategic timing before selecting seats. Most airlines release premium or preferred seats closer to departure if they go unsold. Exit rows, aisle seats, extra legroom seats, and even certain front cabin economy seats eventually become free or drastically cheaper because an unsold seat earns nothing once the flight closes. Passengers who understand this timing open the seat map right at the check-in window and scoop up seats that would have cost far more days earlier. Airlines hate this because it undermines the upsell experience. They want you to buy the seat early when fear and uncertainty are strongest. But as departure nears, the airline shifts from revenue optimization to inventory clearance. Empty seats hurt them more than free upgrades hurt them, and passengers who understand this rhythm benefit every time. Airlines also hate when passengers use seat selection timing to separate themselves from crowded sections. Travelers who understand load distribution look at seat maps not just for location, but for patterns, clusters of empty rows, indications of group bookings, or seats likely to stay empty based on demand. Selecting a seat with strategic awareness improves comfort without paying for premium space. Airlines can't penalize you for choosing wisely. They can only hope you pick seats at random like most people do. The fifth thing airlines hate is flexible travelers. Flexibility destroys their predictive pricing power. Airlines rely on models that assume passengers will travel on fixed days, weekends, holidays, peak commute patterns, school breaks. Their entire revenue model is built around the idea that most passengers cannot shift their dates, but flexible travelers break the algorithm. A passenger willing to fly one day earlier or later can bypass pricing peaks entirely. The airline's carefully engineered fare calendar collapses when you step outside their expected window. And shifting your departure date by even 24 hours can drop the price dramatically without changing the destination, the experience, or the season. Airlines can't make you travel on peak days. They can only hope you're stuck with a rigid schedule. Flexibility also frustrates airlines when it comes to routing. Travelers who are willing to accept slightly longer layovers or alternative airports often find significantly cheaper fares. Airlines hate this because layover tolerance opens up a world of pricing options they'd prefer remain hidden. Flexibility is a form of consumer freedom that airlines cannot influence, and they dislike anything that reduces their ability to predict your behavior. Before we continue, if these insights are helping you understand how airlines operate, take a moment to subscribe. It supports the channel and makes sure you get weekly breakdowns that help you travel smarter in 2026 and beyond. Airlines invest millions in systems designed to outsmart passengers. This channel exists to even the score. The sixth thing airlines hate is when passengers refuse all optional add-ons. Airlines do not make their real money from tickets. They make it from everything else: seat fees, baggage fees, early boarding fees, change fees, meal upgrades, bundle packages, travel insurance, premium seat maps, and branded fare upsells. These extras have become such a huge revenue source that airlines now track ancillary sales as closely as ticket sales. So when a traveler declines every optional add-on, no seat fee, no bag fee, no priority boarding, no paid early check-in, that traveler becomes an unprofitable passenger. Totally allowed, completely normal, but from the airline's perspective, you're a nightmare. Airlines are built on the assumption that a percentage of travelers will buy extras emotionally, out of fear of bad seats, fear of sold-out overhead bins, fear of boarding chaos, fear of discomfort. But passengers who calmly ignore all the upsells break that psychological model and reduce airline revenue in a way they absolutely hate. The seventh and final thing airlines secretly hate is when passengers know their rights. Airlines rely heavily on customer ignorance. Many passengers don't realize they're entitled to refunds when the airline cancels a flight, or that they may be eligible for compensation during long delays depending on the region, or that involuntary downgrades come with mandatory partial refunds, or that baggage fee violations require reimbursement. Travelers who know these rights calmly request what they are legally owed. Airlines cannot deny valid claims. They can only stall or hope the passenger gives up, but informed travelers don't give up. They ask precisely for what the policy guarantees. They cite regulations, they document communications, and airlines hate this because it forces them into compliance instead of allowing them to dictate the outcome. Here's the truth airlines won't say out loud. Informed travelers will always win more than uninformed travelers. These 7 behaviors are not rebellious. They are not risky. They are not loopholes. They are simply actions that airlines wish remained uncommon because they shift power away from the system and toward you, the passenger. And once you start using these behaviors, you'll never go back to the old way of traveling because now you know exactly how airlines operate. Thanks for watching Passport Pointers, and I'll see you in the next video.